What's up, you guys? James Strickland here. Welcome to week 58 on my road to 700 pounds on bench press. Hope you guys are having a great week. I know I am. Feeling very, very good, feeling rested and recovered. Last week's sets didn't bang me up so much. I really feel like that's a good start to just kind of start rolling forward. This week, we're going to bump it up just a notch. We'll try to hit the reps that we didn't hit last week. And start kind of starting at base. And so I think this is probably a good time to say this is probably week one, if you will, of this training cycle. So don't get confused if I start calling the weeks week one, week two, week three. Definitely going to reference the week, 50-ish or 60 or whatever we get to. But I definitely don't want to confuse anybody. And I definitely don't want to downplay how long it takes on the road to 700 pounds. But I think it would make it a lot easier just for people to follow along, because I think some people that have inquired, they're kind of like, wait a minute, it's taking you 60 weeks? What, 60-week training cycle? And I don't want people to get the wrong idea about what a training cycle is. For me, it's typically about 12 to 20 weeks. Now, shorter cycles, meaning if I do a meet and then I want to turn around and do another meet kind of in a short time span, maybe 8 to 12 weeks is a good time. But 8 weeks is typically how long it takes me to go from ready to start peaking to the actual meet. So 8 weeks for me at my level is just not enough time to start, from now until 8 weeks to do a meet. I would really need to ramp up the weight quick, and that's a good way to get hurt because I got a lot of weight to go through. But typically at this level, being close to 700 pounds on bench, 2,100 plus total on full meet total. It's going to take me about 20 to 26 weeks on average from the day I start thinking about a meet in a far distant future, being 26 weeks or so out, to the date that I actually have the meet. Could be anywhere from 20 to 26 weeks. And the last 8 weeks is when we start really getting heavy. So in the terms of being on what weight is on the bar when we start gearing up for a meet, probably going to be close to 600 pounds for reps. And so, last training cycle, when we got to 600 for 3, we went to 620 and then 630 and then 640, 50, 60, and kind of ramped it up that way. This training cycle, I think I'm going to aim for about the same. So I'd like to get a PR. When we start getting into the rep ranges of, right now we're in the rep ranges of 8. I would love to be able to do 505 or better, because my personal best now for one set of 8 is 500 paused and 500 for 10, like touch and go. And that's been a couple years since I did that, and we haven't backed down the weight significantly in time in the more recent training cycles to really build a solid base like we've been talking about with that pyramid. We've kind of gone like halfway down the pyramid and started kind of building from there. At this point, we're kind of taking it all the way back down to the bottom, and we're going to see how efficient we can build the base. Now, that might go a lot quicker than 20 weeks. That might actually go 10 weeks. I doubt it. It's really, really fast for me. But I'm not going to say it's impossible. Basically, the reason that we have backed down from going balls to the wall at Boss of Bosses, and then right after Boss of Bosses, went in, did like a 635 for 1, and really started thinking, okay, we can crank this up and go for a meet. My body basically said, not right now. You got tendonitis, your shoulders are starting to feel banged up, and there's one telltale sign that I've seen most elite level benchers and even lifters in general. When your shoulders start bugging you, the last thing you want to do is irritate them, because you're going to be out the door and never being able to lift at the same level again. I've seen a lot of lifters at this level, or maybe a little below or a little above, and they're not in the game anymore. And a lot of it is shoulder issues. That is one thing I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess with my rotator cuffs. If I start feeling anything in those, we shut it down. And that's kind of where we are at now. Instead of banging forward and trying to hit 650, 660, 670, 700 here in the next few weeks to try to do a meet, we've taken it all the way back down to what I would call the baseline, and that is to start building up 405 for 8, 420 for 8, 440 for 8, 500 for 8, 505 for 8. And then when that starts getting too heavy, then we start going, okay, let's see if we can get 520 for 6. 530 for 6, 550 for 6. When that starts getting too heavy, then we drop down to 5s, the 3s, the 2s, and the 1s. And hopefully, and what keeps me going through all of this is not only the end goal being 700 pounds plus on bench, but is to start getting to the point to where every single thing that I do ends up with a PR. So my 8s have a PR before I start moving to 6s, and my 6s have a PR of that particular rep range before I start moving on. It's not necessary before we move on, but it's nice. It keeps things motivated keeps me, when I wake up, I'm excited to go in the gym versus, oh, I'm going in just put some work in and I can't see the fruits of my labor for another 10 weeks. And that's tough call. But we're at the point in my training now where I understand that some of the weeks and some of the days are just going to be mundane, kind of boring, if you will, and you kind of spice them up however you can. It's kind of like bodybuilding. Sometimes you're just going to eat the same stupid foods and you got to flavor them, season them, make them taste good, do something, but it's the same boring food. And at first it's fine. Then you get so used to it, you got to get something that tastes a little different. So you'll see me changing up some accessories here and there, changing up how I do things here and there with accessories. And that's twofold. One is to get a different feel, different stimulus, see if we can move some things around. You're going to see me kind of moving my feet around, playing with grips, different widths, because the weight is light enough now where I can actually start playing with those. Because leverages change, body weights change, age can change, a lot of different things can change how you lift. And if you're stuck with that one-track mentality, a lot of the times it can hold you back. So this is the time of my training where I start experimenting with different bars and different things, and just to see. When we start really getting serious, then we start narrowing things down and working with only what I know works, the grips that I know work for a fact, the recovery methods that I know work for a fact. But that's kind of where we're at. So it's going to be exciting in the sense of it's going to be different the next few weeks. The weights aren't going to be terribly heavy. You guys aren't going to see any kind of 600 pound for 5 or any crazy stuff like that. But stick with me, stick around for a little bit. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Definitely am excited to have well over 10,000 subscribers. I think we're going to be at 11 here in a few days. So I definitely appreciate you guys following along my journey. But like I do every week, I'm going to jump into the recap video, show you guys what I did this week for training, and then kind of explain what I was thinking, what I was doing, why I was doing certain things, and then I will let you guys get out of here. So let's go ahead and jump right on into the recap. So day one, I do my heavy bench and heavy upper accessories. So today I've got on tap a set of 405 for 8. And so I'm warming up here. This is my last warm up here with 315. And went into the gym with a little bit of chip on my shoulder today. I felt pretty good. Didn't want, not going to be stupid, but I definitely felt like I had an edge. I felt like the last couple weeks, backing the weight down below 500 pounds for sets has given me some recovery, much needed. Through that first rep, almost through the roof, and it pulled me out of position, but warm-up's feeling good. We're going to do the first set here. Program called for 405 for a solid set of 8. Now, if you notice, last week, the 405 for 5 just was a little off, and the 440 for 5 was a little off. But this week, just giving me about 8 days of rest. This is a set of 8 and really, really fast, solid pauses and just snapping at the top. Went ahead and got a lift off and spot here from Justin Dubs at Dubs Barbell Club in Spring, Texas. This is a set of 10. Figured I would go ahead and just go for an AMRAP, set the tone. The 8 felt great, and it's not too heavy. Joints feel good, so we're going to go ahead and start pressing the gas pedal a little bit and see what we can come up with. Strategy here when I'm doing so many reps, because this really is cardio at this level, weighing about 300 pounds, plus or minus a few pounds. Anything over 5 reps, it feels like my lactic acid builds up really bad. I get some burn. So what I did is the first few reps, I'd really would pause at the bottom and snap to the top, and I wouldn't wait around at the top. But feel good. That's not near a PR, but for 10, I'll take it. Moving on to some close grip. This was supposed to be decline. Don't have a decline at this gym, but it's mainly focused on keeping the shoulders healthy and hit some triceps. So I hit a couple sets there. Some crucifix lat pull downs, same weight as last week. Really just keeping that back tight and pulling those in, keeping that those lats retracted, and really just working some different angles on the back. This is not too terribly heavy, but after a few sets of this, you can definitely start feeling the burn. That's just part of building the base, so I think we're doing pretty well here. Still wearing my elbow sleeves here. I recommend if you have elbow tendonitis or any type of joint pain, forearm pain, anything like that, those sleeves will definitely help to ward off some of that. Moving on, I've got some weighted dips here, body weight right around 297. And with this is 120 pounds, not super heavy. We actually dropped the weight a little bit, and that was mostly due to feedback from my coach, to my coach, saying, you know, when we were doing the 165 the last week, and then when we did 135, it was just bothering my elbows and my shoulders a little bit. So we backed that down a little bit. And this wasn't terribly comfortable, but it definitely was doable. Weighted dips are just one of those things where a lot of bigger guys, it's hard to do just your body weight. And I've, you know, like I've said, I've done quite a bit more than this in the weight in the past, but just that weak link of some pain in the elbows, pain in the arms can shut you down. So moving on, I told you guys I was going to move on to some floor flies this week versus on the bench. This is 55 pounds here, really just working on pausing right above the floor. I don't want my elbows to touch or to relax. I want to keep constant tension on the pecs here. Really just working on building those pecs and getting those to be ready for action later in the season. Want to really work on the pecs because that is in conjunction with a very, very strong back, and actually back would be more important than the pecs, but they work together in firing off your chest. So if you're having trouble with getting the bar from your chest to about halfway and it starts to come back down on you, you're probably not working your back enough or your pecs enough. If you stop about midway and you can't quite lock it out, then you're starting to worry more about tricep strength, and I would definitely do a lot more tricep exercises. Moving on, day 2 here, gonna show you guys a couple squat sets. Nothing crazy heavy. Warming up here. Gonna go with 585 in a warm up. Get it nice and deep here, open up. Really feel, I like to really get my warm ups almost paused at the bottom just to get a little bit of an opening, a stretch. Really helps to get everything firing off and moving. No use cutting it short. Top set here, 585 for 5. Last week was 545. So a little significant jump, but nothing crazy. Definitely feel a lot better. Sometimes just a little bit more weight, considering I've done this weight before, and the legs are definitely healthy. There's nothing going on with them. And feel very, very good about them progressing. If I had to compare my leg training level to my bench level right now, I would definitely say my legs are probably at about 60% training. Bench is definitely right around 55 or so, just a hair lower. But I am not looking to do anything super, super heavy on squats until we start getting closer to the animal cage. Of course, there I want to be able to squat 700 for at least a couple reps. Bench at that point will definitely be 600s for reps. And I'm working on deadlifts here where basically we're just keeping those in check to where I can pull about 800 or so for reps. Working on some new exercises for back here. These are pendulay rows. Basically it's a bent over row. Pendulay you can be a little bit more strict with. You have to be a little more strict with. But these are just barbell rows. I guess it's the best way to go. 370 for 4 sets here. And on the 5th set, I opted to go slightly heavier, not only for just a PR for me for a set of 5, but just to kind of push the envelope a little bit. This definitely was not, I felt like I was leaving a lot in the tank here. You definitely want to stay tight, but I definitely felt like I could put on a lot more weight. Showing you guys a couple angles here. Do have a little bit of body English here, and that's mostly just so I can get full extension at the top. I'm not worried about too much strictness there. So here's my top set here, 405 for 5. Felt really, really good. This is a PR for me. Powered by Skittles. Yes, that is correct. All right, day 3, shoulder and upper accessories. Showing you guys my rear pec deck flies. And these really worked at those rear delts. This is fairly light, just not really, I wouldn't say going through the motions, but getting warm on these. We're going to start ramping these up, probably 10 pounds a week or so. And we've got plenty of time. If we go 10 pounds a week for 10 weeks, well, we just added 100 pounds. So that's probably around the range that we're going to do. Hope you like my new shirt there. Wife made it for me. Basically spotlighting week to peak, which is what my bench program and my full power programs are called. Basically taking you from week to peak. And you can definitely check those out at bencholly.com. I am running a special this month. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that here in a second. Working on shoulders here, just getting these lateral raises. These feel really good. Start feeling a little bit of a burn. This particular day was just on fire. I felt great, and I mean on fire, meaning I just felt really motivated. Not sure what really attributed to that necessarily, but just felt very energetic towards the end of this week. And I really do think that it's probably the fact that my body is thanking me for not constantly trying to bench 600 pounds going forward, and I'm laying back a little bit. These didn't feel the best on this bench day. 100 pounds here for a couple sets of 15. It doesn't really look too bad. I did them without the elbow sleeves here just to give myself, I was getting a little hot. These don't look bad at all, but I'm definitely not full lockout just because triceps are a little bit achy. But we're moving on. You know, nothing serious, just keeping things steady. Straight arm, fully extended dumbbell pullovers here. These feel really good on those pecs. It really feels good on the lats now. I don't know if I've changed something up. It looks very similar to the way I used to do them, but I think when I have my legs up or down, it does kind of a different stretch. So here it pulls on the lats just a little bit more when my legs are down. I'm kind of toying with the idea of moving my legs under for bench. Something I've kind of played with. I'm not sure if we're going to really do that or not, but it really just based on how it feels. So moving on, last accessory of the week and of the day, 190-pound tricep rope, and this is for quite a few number of sets, so definitely burning out everything. But that is going to wrap it up for the week. Definitely appreciate you guys tuning in and kind of checking things out. I welcome questions, Q&As. I will start those back up once I kind of catch back up. I'm playing a little catch up on my video recaps, but as soon as kind of things calm down in life in general and training kind of gets maybe a little more kind of in sync, we're going to definitely start back up some Q&A. So keep those coming. I'm not ignoring them. I'm answering a lot of those in the comment section, so definitely leave some comments below with your questions or comments. And I will kind of pick some of those at random. Definitely, if you're on Instagram, follow me over there. I've got about 40,000 followers, so I really appreciate that. Got over 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And because of that, I want to thank you guys. I am running a special for the month of November, where if you buy any of my programs, you're going to be entered into a chance to win Massonomics lift shorts. And if you don't know about those, they are literally the world's most expensive lift shorts. They are a hot commodity. Normally you have to have pretty big pockets to get those, but I am going to be giving them away to a lucky winner. Also, if you are interested in something longer in terms of your training, I have my 24-week bench program 2.0 and my 24-week full power program half off for the month of November. And those are normally considerably more in depth as far as the training is concerned than just kind of showing you guys recaps, things like that. It actually spells out, and this goes for all my programs, it tells you the weight to put on the bar, the rest time that you need, the accessories to do, and things like that. And then of course, by getting those, you are welcome to ask me questions anytime. But the bench program, normally $99 down to $50 for the rest of the month. And then from $199, basically $200 for the full power program, down to $99. Got about 1,000 or so, more than 1,000 people that have bought my program. So I really do appreciate each and every one of you who's already supported me. If you're looking for a new program, hit me up. I'm not saying they're the best in the world. I'm not going to be that guy to try to sell you on it. Let the programs and let the testimonials speak for themselves. Plenty of those. I can forward those to you, or you can just ask around. But I do appreciate everybody that's had great feedback and continued to kind of help me to refine those programs. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys who has subscribed. If you haven't already, definitely like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. Share this video and this channel with your friends. Tell everybody about it. Until I have every single person on the planet who knows who I am, there's definitely room to grow. But very humbled anyways by every one of you all that's followed me and that continues to follow my journey. Going to have some exciting things coming in the next following weeks. So stay tuned, and we're going to be back next week with week 59. So you guys have a great week. See ya.